Alright, so this is going to be a different video than what normally happens, is because it's going to be a redstone video. It's a sort of a tutorial and everything. So yeah, this is something I wanted to do, improve on my last world. If you've watched my Let's Play series, you would have seen that I did one of these earlier. But I only got it to be a third of the speed of what it could have been. So every time one of these concrete powder blocks comes through on each side, it is actually 3 and not 1. As you can see over here, by when they get shot up, you can see there's 3 different concrete blocks getting pushed over. Now they can all be the same color or they can be different. I did different just to show what you can actually see happen in here. You can see all the different colors, you can see every block is changing and everything. So yeah. All my design, all my redstone, a little bit of inspiration from Mango with this water, and then getting shot up and then all getting churned into the concrete blocks at the same time. But everything else is all my redstone and everything like that. So yeah, quite proud of this. Took me a while to actually get it all running and working. Alright, so it is tutorial time, and let's get into it. So there will be a full parts list in the description of the video. Make sure you check that out if you want to know everything you're going to need for this farm. This will include this system on the end. It will include the overworld side of the end portal, as well as the nether side of the chunk loader. So everything will be there. Building blocks can be anything of your choice. Some of them need to be solid blocks though. So especially when you're getting power to pistons, this block has to be a solid block. This one also has to be a solid block. So and this one has to be a solid block as well. Just make sure that everything that uses redstone is at least on a solid block so you don't run into issues. But yeah, just make sure if you're going to use like transparent blocks or glass, something like that, just make sure it's in places that don't have any redstone or anything that need to be will interfere with anything. But yeah, on to this tutorial. Alright, to kick off this tutorial, what you're going to need is you're going to need to find your end portal. I made a new world here, so you have a fresh end portal, generated 2 eyes. Basically, make sure this is lit, so put all 12 eyes in the portal. Make sure you have this right here. And then what I would probably do is we're going to go out about 10 blocks just to give us basically enough space for all the chunk loader and everything. So basically 10 blocks from each portal. So we're going to go out, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So out to here. We're going to break. And then the same on all directions. So 1, 2, 3. So obviously you go a lot more on these sides than that side. So it's a little bit of digging. And then just make sure, probably, yeah, we're going to go 4 down or 3 down from here. So 1, 2, 3. Going to dig out the floor as well. So get rid of this level right here. And then get rid of the ceiling up to here till you see some regular stone. So all the way around, all the way like that. And yeah, just make sure you have a big enough area just to have everything clear. This could be one of the longer things you're going to do to start off with. And yeah, so 10 blocks every direction. And then just get rid of the stone brick layer on the top and the bottom. And then we'll come back and get ready for the chunk loader and the duper side. So let's go. Alright, so once you have that, you can make the walls whatever you want. I just made it white concrete and black concrete. I usually do this in my world, so I figured I'd do it here. Looks quite nice. What you're going to need is you're going to need some dirt. You're going to need some red mushroom and then some bone meal. So you're going to want to come down 3. 1, 2, 3. And then over 2, so there. So down 3. Over 2, like just like that. This is the one you're going to want to put the mushroom on. So what this mushroom's responsibility is going to replace the end portal frame. Watch, we're going to bone meal this, and you can see that the mushroom blocks right here replace the end portal blocks, and that's how you get rid of it. It's just that simple. I used to thought it's like Bedrock where you have to do the TNT and everything, but no, it's just a single mushroom will replace it. And now what you're going to do is you're going to do that all on 3 sides. So come down 3, over 2, right there. Break your temporary blocks. Bone meal the mushroom. And there you go. So we do this on all 4 sides. And then the only issue with this is you cannot see the portal besides the particles. So kind of make a mental note to yourself. You could probably, what I would do is put something noticeable on the ceiling here, so to remind you about where the portal frames are, because I think you can see those through there, so that will definitely remind you of where the portal frames are, because obviously they are not visible beneath here. Once you have this done, it's going to be very difficult to see them, because I've done it myself before. I would jump through when I didn't need to, and then getting all the way back here would be kind of an issue. Which also reminds me of another thing. If you want to do that, I would recommend setting your spawn point here. So you can just set your spawn point there, and then when you come through the portal, you'll come right back to there, which will be very helpful when you're trying to turn the farm off, so you don't get too many entities in your end when you go back, which can crash your game if you leave it running for too long and you don't have the end chunks loaded, which will crash your game. So it's not a good thing. So definitely I advise you to make backups all the time, every day. If it is a single player world, it's a server. If you don't own the server, it's kind of an issue because you can't control the admins of the server, but do your best you can, and now you will definitely have basically a floating portal. On to the next step. Alright, so this next part is very, very important. So, the chunk loader is based off of a 3x3 chunk around you. So basically what I am saying is the chunk that where this portal is right here, you're going to basically want to keep loaded as well. So we're going to put our chunk loader right here. Since if we put our chunk loader right here, it'll load one chunk in every direction around us. So it'll load this chunk right here, which will be included completely in our concrete duper right here. Also includes this chunk, this one, which is where most of our stuff will be as well. This one, and this one will all be loaded while your portal is activated. Now, the chunk loader does not work after either a server that you're playing on restarts or in a single player world when you quit. So when you quit, the chunk loader will not work until you come back here and reload the chunks yourself and locate the minecart. The minecart sometimes does get lost either in the dispenser in the nether, or if it gets lost mid-transfer when depending on the time you log out. So just make sure when you come and load this again, you check the minecart location and make sure that's still going through and everything. So we'll show that more when the chunk loader is fully built. So we're going to build our portal right here up against this wall, right behind the bed. Alright, so we're going to put our portal to enter, or for our chunk loader, right here. So we're just going to put it against this wall and then light it. So if we're going to want to keep the chunk loader behind, let's go behind here, clear out some space. Now this will be different for everybody, so you just got to make sure that, basically just make sure that this whole room is loaded. So whatever chunk you need to put the portal in, just put that in there. So obviously the difference is different for each world, but just make sure that it's loaded. So once again, it loads a 3x3 chunk around the portal, so one chunk in every direction. Alright, so we got our space here. What we're going to want to do, you're going to want to put a dispenser right there, sand next to it, cactus right there. Then you're going to want to put a block on top of the cactus to stop it from growing. And then in the dispenser, shift click a hopper onto it, and then shift click another hopper into that like that. Then you're going to want to place this powered rail, then this powered rail, then that one, so you get the full straight line. These two don't connect. You're going to want to put a redstone torch on each side of the obsidian, just like that. You're going to want to place a block on the powered rail, or next to the powered rail right here. So when the dispenser shoots the minecart out, it gets instantly pushed into the portal. And then you're going to want to get a piece of scaffolding. Scaffolding one right next to the cactus. So this is one thing you can do, is you can place scaffolding next to a cactus without the cactus breaking. And you're going to want to put a comparator on top of that, facing into the block, the solid block that we put on top of the cactus. And then on the other side of that block, place a torch. This will activate the dispenser down here. And then on top of that same block, place a redstone dust with the cross. Very important you have the cross. Sticky piston facing with this redstone block on its face. A sticky piston on one block away from that redstone block. And clear out a little bit more area behind this. It's a little bit lopsided, but that's perfectly fine. And then you go on to shift click a hopper into this comparator, and then shift click another hopper into that hopper right there. Break the first one you placed, and then face them into each other. So you have the two little nozzles going back and forth into each other. And then you're going to do the same thing over here. You're going to place a block right there with a comparator facing into a block with a redstone dot on a cross. So if I put it right this, you would see that it wouldn't power the sticky piston, but if we put it into a cross, it would, which is what you want. And that is this side basically all done. We're going to want to put 17 items, it could be anything, into here. This will send the minecart through frequently enough to where the chunks will stay loaded. And then you're going to want to put your minecart in here, and this is very important. You're going to want to see what side the minecart comes out of the portal. So we're going to wait for the minecart to go through. Should be any second, right about now. There we go. Oh, it's because I didn't load it first, so we're going to get another one. Make sure you have the nether loaded first, which could be an issue if you don't. Alright, this is actually pretty good for us, but not good if you're in survival, because we don't have to clear anywhere. So we're going to go back through. Wait for the minecart to get shot. There we go. And whatever side it's facing, alright, it's facing this side for me. So it's facing the south. So it's going to be a little hard to build if you're in survival, but you're going to want to place the dispenser on the opposite side, the opposite corner that the minecart came through. So mine came through the left side, place it on the right side. Then you're going to want to collect your minecart, and then break these two blocks here if you have any blocks. Shift click the hopper into the dispenser, and then into the hopper again. You're going to basically do the same thing you did before, but you don't need the hopper clock this time. So if you're floating, you need to place a solid block there. Then sand, then a cactus. And you place another block on top of the cactus. And then the same technique with the power rails again. One there, one there, one there. Place a block there and a block there. So what we're going to do is we're going to take an output from the dispenser like we did. No, we didn't do this on the other side. So we take a comparator facing towards a block right here. Redstone torch on that. Then you're going to place a block on top of the redstone torch. The back of the other block we just placed. Then another block on top of that redstone torch and another solid block right here. Then you're going to grab a repeater facing into the block we just placed right there on 4 ticks. Then you're going to want to put a power torch on this side right there. That's the only power torch you need. This 4-tick repeater will power this rail long enough for the minecart to go back through. So we can test that by simulating by putting it into the hopper right here. And your minecart is now through. And we look, it just came back. That's just a coincidence that the chunk was perfectly timed for the minecart to come back. So basically in about 10 seconds we will see the minecart come back through here and create a loop. There we go. And that means your chunks are fully loaded in the overworld. Now it also does the same thing on the nether side. So this 3x3 chunk around the portal in the nether will also be loaded. It's not very useful. I mean, if you want to put something over here, you can, but not much you can do. So that's like a honey farm or something, but whatever you would like to do. So now we basically have our chunk loader fully behind this wall right here, so it's very not noticeable. So this can be your main point of entrance too, if you would like, because you still have one side of another portal that's unobstructed, right, like this one. It's the same exact on the other side, so you will perfectly be able to use this portal as your entrance to the end. Now on to the duper part. Alright, so this part we're actually going to do the duper. So you're going to want to basically find the center, go over one, and then basically have a sticky piston on the very edge. Make sure it's facing out, just like all these are. Basically right below the portal, you're going to want to have them all facing out. You can basically do this, just go in 2 blocks up and then place in that there, if you did the same dimensions I did. So then on each of these faces, you're going to need to put 3 slime blocks. Mine are just white because of the texture pack that I'm using for vanilla tweaks, but they are slime blocks. And then you're going to want to save your concrete powder till the end, just so you don't have that loaded on the other side when you're testing it and everything. Alright, so right here, you're going to place a block under the sticky pistons. A solid block it needs to be. A block in front of all that, one down, just like that. And then we're going to place 2 more in front of those on each side. Then you're going to want to go up and over, just like this, on all 4 sides. And then up and over one more time, just like that, on all 4 sides. So you should basically have these on basically every side. And this is going to be part of the clock. So the other part is going to be down here. So we'll place a 4-tick repeater facing into these 3 long section on the bottom. Make sure it's on max delay, so 4 ticks. And yeah, that's going to be the other part there. So we're going to place 3 dust on the 3 right there, on all 4 sides. And then 1 with the repeater on 1 tick into the black block right here. So 1 more dust repeater into the solid block up top. And then you're going to place a torch there with a block on top of that. And you're going to want to get a lever to turn it off for temporary, so you can have everything in place and not have it actually the clock running. So we're going to want to go up here. Actually, you're going to want to stay there, then go up there. So you get dust, then repeater. This is on 2 ticks. And then you want to extend this to 3 blocks like this. Just like that. Put 3 dust on top of those 3 blocks. Sticky pistons right here. And then you're going to want to put a sticky piston right on that torch right there as well. So this part will have slime blocks as well. You'll need to put 3 of those just like that. This part you don't need anything. And so that's one side done for the top part. Now you're going to want to repeat that on every side. So again, lever, torch, turn it off. Sticky piston in front of there. Block on top of the torch, block on top of the sticky piston. Dust. A 2-tick repeater. Block in front of the repeater. Dust on top of those blocks. Sticky pistons facing down. And then your 3 slime blocks, and just like that. And now I'm going to do it on the other 2 sides, and then you should do it as well, and then we'll be back with the next part. Alright, so once you have all of that, you can test it by just plugging that lever. Actually, it's can't test it yet. We're going to need to put the rest of the circuit down. So make the lever, put it on the side, power it again, and you're going to want to put another torch right here, a block right there, and then just 3 dust like that, and then you can test it like this. So if it is right, this one should extend first, then that one up top, then this one down here. Then you have the right sequence. And you can turn it off. And you can have a central switch like I will show you in a little bit. Just make sure you have the rest of the circuit in place first. So we're going to want to move the torch or the lever to one side, place a torch, block right underneath. So you can place a dust there, and then another 2 more dust right there. So lever, block, torch, dust, dust, dust. Lever, torch, block, dust, dust, dust. And that's your basically pretty much your overworld side done. If you want to have one central switch, which I will have right here. I'm going to put the switch near the portal, so we're going to have it right here at the lamp. Or redstone lamp, just for, I guess you can easily tell if it's on or off. So you're going to want to take that signal, run it up to here. Make sure you have a repeater going into this block, or else this won't work, because this repeater will then power this line right here. So make sure you have a repeater going into that block. And if you want them all to be in sync, just count the repeater ticks that you have leading into this, and then make sure you have it as well on the other side. So we have 2 repeater ticks for this one over here. So we're going to, it's a little difficult, but you may have to go down a little bit. So we're going to basically go down, then back up. And you're just going to want to basically power this block here. So that's the only repeater we need to have them all in sync. So down, then back up, and then just connect them like that. And they should. Let's get rid of that block there and put a dust there instead, which will work. So yeah, redo that. And then do the same thing on the other side. So dust, dust, dust. Break that block. Have a block there, there, and there. The repeater facing into it like that. And then now if we turn it on, oh, we're going to need to get rid of the levers first on all sides. So obviously when you get rid of the levers, they will all start at different times, but flick the lever, they'll all go off, and then to make sure they're all in the same time, flick the lever, and you can see they're all activated at the same time, which is what some people like, some people don't. I prefer it all to be at the same time, just because it looks better to me, but whatever you prefer. And if you have the 2 ticks like me, you're going to want to turn it off when the block is essentially about to fall. So once the piston picks it up and lets go, you're going to want to turn it off. So we're good. Let's test that right now. Let's put a piece of sand on there. So basically what you're going to want to do, so you can see it's perfectly working fine, you're going to want to turn it off right when it starts falling, right there. So it gets stuck on that block. See how it got stuck? You turn it off at any given point. So say I turn it off right here, you can see it falls down and then just breaks. You don't want that. You want it to stay on top of the block. So basically, right as it's falling, you want to turn the switch off with the 2 ticks that I have. So you get 1 repeater here, 1 repeater there. Same with this one, 1 repeater there, 1 repeater there. So if you have it like that, make sure you turn it off right as it's falling down. So that's just the overworld side done. You can see it's a lot more area than you actually need, but just for the sake of the video, we're going to have this big. Makes it a lot more spacious and comfortable to work in. So now on to the inside. Alright, so before you go into the end, make sure that this machine is not working and you don't have any blocks here yet, because that could be an issue if you do. So yeah, let's go into the end. Now, depending on your end spawn, this is actually a good end spawn. We don't have very much island. Like a little bit area over here that might need to be cleared out, but that's about it. So yeah, it's actually pretty good to build this farm. Sometimes you have the portal generate completely inside an island, which isn't very good. But in this case, it's actually quite good. We're going to just kill the Ender Dragon real quick. Alright, so on the end side, you're going to want to come 3 blocks out, then place a sticky piston with a redstone block next to it, with a block on top of it. Could be any block. Just make sure that when the entity comes through and you don't want to have the farm on, it'll hit this block and fall straight down, which we'll put a collection down there a little bit later. So what we're going to want to do over here, so basically have enough, basically 1 block above here, just so that when the concrete powder comes through and this is down, it'll hit this wall and fall straight down. And yeah, so right there we'll have the observer. Just continue that wall all the way down, place a piece of string in front of it. Actually, this stops right there, and then you're going to want to have that point into, actually it points into a repeater right here, facing backwards, which then goes into a block, and then you're going to want to place a block below here with a dust, a sticky piston, and then a slime block. So basically what this does, as you can see, we put the powder right here, it'll just shoot it across. That's its main objective for this one, and it goes 1 and then pulls it back, which is what we need. Alright, that's our first circuit, so you want to do that on all 4 sides as well. So let's do this again. So 1 above and 1 away, like that, and then continue it down to the bottom of the piston right here. Then place a block under the sticky piston, observer facing this way, facing towards the wall, string in front, into a repeater on 1 tick, block in front of that repeater, block right here with a redstone dust there, sticky piston on there, and a slime block on its face. And you can confirm that works just by dropping a powder or a sand if you want, but you don't need to. I would just advise to make sure it's worked and all working perfectly, so don't run into issues later when you turn the farm actually on. So then we're going to do the bottom sticky piston. So you're going to want to take this dust you have here, go down 1, down another, towards the sticky piston this time. And then we're going to go down again. So we're going to want to do, basically from here, we're going to want to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then a block up like that. Repeater down there on 1 tick. So you're going to want to have in total 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dust in total. Right there. This block will then lead into power the sticky piston right here. And then it'll basically shoot it back up. So we test that right here. Yep. And then you're going to basically want to have a wall right here so that it gets shot straight up. You can test that again. There we go. See, it's worked perfectly fine. And yep, on to the next spot. So do this again on all sides. So basically you want to do it on the right side facing it. You're going to want to come across, down, and then go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like that, and then back up again. So then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more dust added to this, and a repeater. And then your sticky piston facing this way is on the right side. No, it's on the left side. I apologize for that. And then a slime block on its face. And then you're going to want to go up 1 on the side right here and have a wall so that it gets aligned. There we go. Worked perfectly fine. So now just the other 2 sides to do. Alright, once you have all 4 of those in, we're going to start the next part, which is the holding chamber for the concrete chamber that turns the powder into regular concrete. So what you're going to do is place a piston right here facing the slime block area, put a redstone block behind it, and then on the to the right you're going to want to go out 3 blocks, place a sticky piston there, and then put a block beneath that sticky piston, come back towards the area until it meets right here, and then just dust this up. So basically what this will do is it'll retract in just the right time to allow the powder to come up, but also this keeps the water from spilling everywhere, which is very important. So it retracts just in time for the concrete powder to come up through it, and then extends just before the water can extend back down, which is what we need. So when it's not in action, this redstone block should always be right behind the piston right here. So you can see it gets removed and then put back. That's what we want. So now do that on the other side as well. That's why we did 2 blocks right here. So you can see us put this piston right there. Redstone block, come out 1, 2, 3 to the right. Sticky piston right there. Block beneath sticky piston. And then 1 down. Just continue this until it meets with the regular staircase down here. Alright, next part. You're going to want to put 3 pistons on the right side of your regular piston right here. And these are going to push the concrete blocks, once they are created into regular blocks, out of the area ready for new powder to come through and get converted. So you're going to want to place glass. This can be glass. This is just to see that there is water here that's actually turning them into blocks. And temporarily you're going to want to put some blocks right here just to keep the water behind, and then blocks right here. This is just to keep the water contained, and also gives us just enough space to send the concrete across. If you did have a block right here, this would cause an issue, so make sure this is very clear. So piston should have nothing on any side of it, just on top of it. And then you're going to want to get water. It just needs to be, well, I'll place 3. It just technically needs to be the top one right here. If you're worried about the water, that's all you really need, is the top one right there. And just to make sure everything stays inside, we just cap it off with anything. So this, if it were all 3, I can't simulate all 3 to come in at the same time. And yep, you can see it got turned into concrete instantly. So then to wire this up, alright, so we're going to want to put a block, solid block right here, solid block right here, dust right here, and then we're going to want to place 5 blocks, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all with 1 tick repeaters on. And then, actually it's 6. You're going to want to place a block there, block here. This will create a loop. So we put this powder, we can send the powder through. And yep. You can confirm it's working when the block gets pushed out, just like that. And you essentially have one full side completely done now. It's just to create the blast chamber is all that's left. So you're getting pretty far along. Now, it's not that far to go. Now we're going to do this water chamber on the other side again. Alright, that's done on all 4 sides now. So take any side you want to start off with. You want to place 2 observers on the blocks. And then another 2 observers facing, observing those 2 observers. And a wall of pistons right here. Put 2 more temporary blocks right here. And then you're going to do that on all 4 sides. So 2 observers into those temporary blocks around the glass chamber, 2 more observers into those, 3 pistons right there, and then 3 more temporary blocks. Alright, any side again to start off, you're going to want to come 3 blocks over, then place a piston facing downwards, and then over 1 to the right, face another piston facing downwards, and then again, another piston facing downwards. So this right here, you're going to want to put temporary blocks in this specific, these 6 blocks right here. Very important you have these blocks at least for temporary blocks, as well as this one right here to keep the water from flowing out. This one isn't particularly needed, but it just makes it look better to start off with. And as you can see, when we would then push over, there would be 3 blocks right here. We can simulate that. And then these would all get pushed over, and then these would get pushed down. So it's very important that you have these temporary blocks here, these 6 in particular. And now we can wire this part up, but let's do this on all other the 4 sides first. So again, that's 1, 2, 3 on the top of the piston. That'll be your first one, down 1, and then down 1, just like that. Make sure you have those pistons, and then make sure you have these 6 temporary blocks, just like that. Alright, all we got left is to wire this up, and then put the TNT duper in collection area, and then we're all done. So you're getting very close here. Alright, so observer, you're going to want to have it facing right here, so it'll observe that block. And then you're going to want to go down 1, right behind the observer, place a sticky piston facing upwards with a solid block on its face. Then coming out of there, a 1-tick repeater with a block in front of it, a block behind it like this, go up 1 more, and then wire this across just like this. And this will all be working. You can test it just by placing a block right here and make sure all 3 pistons fire. You can make sure all 3 pistons fire by placing 1 block there, 1 block there, and then the last one right there. And you can see we got all 3 of the push down. So that's very good. 1 more step closer to finishing. So do it again. Observer facing. Make sure that it observes the block right here. And you're going to want to put a sticky piston down there, block there, block behind it as well, a 1-tick repeater, block in front of that, block on top of the repeater, another block, a staircase right there, and then 3 more blocks just like that. Wired it with redstone, confirm all 3 pistons are firing, and then you're all set, and 2 more sides to go. Alright, all 4 sides of mine are working. If you do get this constant loop, you may have put the piston in the wrong spot, just like this. Just make sure the piston is 1 below and has a solid block on its face, and you should not get a constant loop at all. So basically what this does right here is you can see the observer right here, it'll blink twice, and we only want it to fire once, so we don't get a constant loop. If you didn't have this piston right here, you would get this right here, which you don't want. So you want to put the sticky piston there, make sure it's actually facing up, and then everything will be all right. All right, onto the duper. I'm going to want to come to the right, facing this way, facing the piston and the regular area over there. Place a redstone dust, place a target block. You can see it redirects the redstone, which is what we want. Sticky piston on top of that, and then an observer, making sure that the face is over here, so we get a redstone output on this side right here. So basically what this will do is it'll create another one of these ones right here. So we get the TNT every other time. So yep. Then we're going to want to place a block on right here. Basically it's a solid block. A 4-tick repeater. When the observer gets pushed up, it powers it just like that. And then it's going to go into a solid block with a sticky piston on its face. Just for now, we're going to just do that. Just for now, we can build a duper at the next step. So do that on all 4 sides. So again, once again, from the first one on your step. So the first one right here, redstone dust, target block right there, target block right there, sticky piston on top of the target block. Make sure the observer is facing this way, so we get an redstone output on this side. 4-tick repeater into a block, sticky piston on the left side, facing towards the next one, which you can do the next one on. Alright, so what we're going to do, place 3 slime blocks in an L in front of this, just like that. Then you want to go out 1, up, down, have basically a 3 tall, just like this, so that when this one gets pushed, it gets pushed into the center right here. And then add 2 more slime blocks just like that. So in here, you got to add a coral fan. Right next to this one, you're going to add a wall. On top of that, the wall, add a TNT. Right here, detector rail. Then you can place your minecart right there. And that's your TNT duper, all complete. And then just in front of the fan right here, place 1, 2, 3, 4, so that your first honey block is in line with TNT, and then 3 more right below it. And then to combine it, just give this sticky piston a power source, take the power source away, and now your TNT duper is fully activated. You don't need to do anything. 3 slime blocks, L formation in front of the sticky piston just like that. 1 across, make a 3 tall. Center is right in the center of this one as well. And then 1 to the right on top and bottom. Coral fan, wall, TNT, detector rail, minecart, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 honey right there, just like that. Combine it, redstone block, or any power source, and then bring it back, and then you're all set. Alright, just one more quick thing to add to make the sticky piston actually hold it for long enough. You're going to want to come out 1 block right here, put a repeater on 1 tick into a block, up here, 2 redstone dust like that, and then a 2-tick repeater just like that facing to the sticky piston. You don't need a block right here, it'll power it anyway if you're on Java at least. I don't know about Bedrock if that'll work like that, but in Java I know it does for sure. And 2 redstone dust, 2-tick repeater just like that. Well, 1 more time, actually 2 more times, but let's get this one right here. To the right of your sticky piston, block down, repeater coming out of the block on 1 tick. Block in front of that, block on top of the repeater, 2 redstone dust, and then a repeater on 2 ticks. This will keep the sticky pistons extended just for long enough to give it just the little bit of height that it needs to get the perfect height for the TNT to blow up. So obviously this is a TNT duplicator. It's not very efficient. You can definitely build a better blast chamber, but this is just for simplicity, and it's quite compact. And yeah, so honestly, TNT efficiency is not an issue if we're duping it, so not too worried about that. But hey, that's basically everything done. All you need is do a collection. It can be anything. For mine, I did these right here. It's not 100%. If you extend it by 1 block, the water by 1 block on each side right here, you will get 100% of the drops. But yeah, and we can do this real quick. If you want to have all of the dupers turned on and off at the same time, we can have this system right here. Will require a bit more of a sticky piston and slime block, but it's worth it in my opinion. Having them all turn off at the same time is very useful. Alright, actually it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then right here is your sticky piston. And then you can wire this up right here. So make it even on all 4 sides. So your redstone block should be on the left side of each and every one of your 4 modules. Come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then 2 blocks down, so when your sticky piston is unextended, it's not touching right here. And then do that on all 4 sides, and then just wire these up right here. Now you can wire it up as ever as you like, but this is just how I do it, so that they are both, the redstone lamp actually indicates the system being on and off. So the redstone lamp being off means that the system is not running, but if we take this down, you will see, if you flick the lever on, all 4 of our pistons retract, allowing the concrete to then fall over like this, which is what you want. And if you do want to collect the entities, so if you have it in sand mode when it's off like this, if you want to collect those items, you can replace this block right here and have it feed over to the right, and then you can bring this to a barrel or something. Obviously this will fill up quite quickly, but you can have a storage over here and not have any issues. So then you can just replace the repeater right on top of that. You won't have any issues at all. This hopper is just the right speed to that where it will collect every item as long as there is storage for it to push it through. And yeah, so basically we can simulate that by placing a concrete powdered hit there. And you can see it gets collected and then put into the storage of whatever you want. So you can have a barrel there if you so choose to have. Or you can have another storage down here where your main on switch is. So now all that's left to do is to go into the overworld. Alright, so now if you did log out, you want to make sure that your chunk loader is working, which mine is. So what you're going to want to do is before you leave these chunks, make sure that this minecart goes through the portal on this end and then comes back through the portal on this end. That way you know your chunks are loaded. So the minecart went through and now it's back. That way you know our chunks are fully loaded. So you're going to want to place, it can be any color of powder you want. Just for this video, we're going to make it all white. And yeah, you can also change this out for sand and gravel as long as you are in the right mode. So make sure that whenever you leave the end, you have your farm is not running at all. Very important that you have it not running, or else you will cause some issues with your farm. So yep, actually what you want to do is make sure that this lever is close enough so that when you pull it, and then jump right into the portal. I'm a little bit farther away, so ideally you want to have your lever right here. That way you can stand underneath here and flick the lever. But put the lever, then jump through as quick as you can. Hopefully the chunks load. Mine have seemed to not want to load. There we go. And now your farm is completely in action. We can see over here with this one, you can see the hopper always has one item in it, which is perfectly enough. So as long as it has 1 or 0 items, if you want to collect every item, you can put a block right here. It will not cause any issues at all. And then I'll make sure every item lands in the hopper. And then just like that, we already got 64 blocks. So it's very quick. And now all that's left to do is to turn your farm on. If you want to make a backup, this will be a good time to make a backup before anything goes wrong. Obviously you would have your water chamber down here and everything. I'm not going to show you how to do that. That's all up to you how you want to handle that. And yeah, here we go. Oh, we did forget the water in this one. So we're going to turn it off real quick. It can be turned off whenever. Perfectly safe for you to turn it off whenever. So we did, however, forget our water on this side. So that's very important. You make sure you have the water, or else the blocks wouldn't be turned into concrete. And yeah, we should be all set to go now. Turn it back on. And there you go. You have your concrete farm all up and operational. So yeah, it's my first time actually doing this tutorial. So if you'd like me to change something, definitely let me know down in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, all those sorts of things, and I'll see you in the next one.